Welcome back to Viking basketball with Tyler Geving as the Vikings get ready for a couple of home games this week at the Stott Center. Portland State playing Montana State Thursday night, Montana on Saturday. We're going to get to those games in just a moment. Coach Geving, it's got to be good to be home, just back in the state of Oregon. You've been gone for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, definitely a good feeling. We've had a couple of weeks on the road at Sac State, and then obviously a little bus trip over to Eastern and Idaho, and getting home late Saturday night about 4:30 in the morning. It's always good for the body, but it's good to be back home, good to be in our own bed, and hopefully have some good crowds out here for two big games this week.
Okay, the Vikings coming off 3 consecutive road games and 3 very different games. Portland State, a blowout win, a big loss, and then a game as close as it can be comes down to the very final shot at Idaho, losing that one by 1 point. What's your take on those 3 road games? Like I say, 3 very different games.
Yeah, obviously going into it, you want to split on the road, and we're 2-3 on the road. It would have been nice to be 3-2 to get the Idaho one. I think we let that one slip away from us. Going back to the Sac State game, I thought that was as complete of a game as we've played all year, 81-63. We shared the ball extremely well. I think we had maybe 26 assists in that game, and Gangler and Robinson had big games. Forte had a big game. Deshaun Parsons off the bench. I thought that was a great game for us. So I thought we had a little momentum kind of going into that week, and then we played Eastern on Thursday, and I think they would have beat the Warriors that night. Yeah, you just, hey, sometimes you just chalk it up to them and tip your hat and say great performance. I think they were 20 of 31 from the three-point line, and then Saturday they went 1 for 20, so explain that to me. But that was a great performance by them. But, credit to our kids. We didn't hang our heads on Friday. We went to practice, we went to work, and got ready for Idaho, and a game we probably should have won. And I think that hurt everybody in the locker room. It made for a long bus ride home because I thought we, kind of controlled that game in the second half, and didn't make some plays down the stretch, whether it was offensively, defensively, rebounding, whatever it was, and to come home 1-2, and you're one possession away from being 2-1 and 4-4 in the league. So it just shows you what a fine line college basketball is.
Okay, we'll get to the performance of Cameron Forte in just a minute, but I'm going to point out a couple of really good things you guys are doing. You already mentioned it, sharing the ball. Portland State leading the Big Sky Conference in assists. The Vikings' assist-to-turnover ratio also leads the Big Sky Conference. Done a great job handling the ball in the last several weeks, and also leading the Big Sky in steals. Struggled to shoot it on some nights, and that seems to be the difference on the losing nights. What's your take on that?
Yeah, no, you're spot on. We are doing a great job of valuing the basketball. I think the other night we had 15 turnovers, which was extremely high for us at Idaho. But overall, we've been doing a good job of keeping it around 10, 11, under 10 at times. And, we're definitely sharing the basketball. We're doing a good job of getting the ball inside to Pinheiro and Forte, and getting a lot of assists. So, so that part, you're extremely happy with the kids on and understanding the team game. Yeah, the shooting, I don't know. That's, I think we kind of knew going into the year that we were probably not necessarily the strength of our team. We thought, we were kind of streaky shooters, but for whatever reason, we're not putting it in the hole, and that's frustrating because when we do make shots, we're pretty good. When we don't, we kind of have to grind it out. And I don't, from a coaching standpoint, I can't get mad at the kids. It's like missed free throws, missed shots. They're not trying to miss it. They're trying to make it. So I think more than anything, we're trying to just keep their confidence high, keep shooting it. If you're open, line it up and shoot with confidence. And then when you're not making it, I think it becomes a little bit of a mental game too. It's kind of like missing that 5-foot putt like you and I do on a regular basis. So, so they're give-me's, right, Mike, from 5 feet. So, but you don't have that in basketball. So, a lot of it, I think we just got to work through it. And, we're shooting with the guys before practice, after practice. They're trying. Trust me, they're trying to do it. They're not trying to miss it. And we just got to work through it.
Okay, now we're going to talk about a guy who is spot on, red hot right now, Cameron Forte. An amazing week last week, 37 points at Eastern Washington, the most by a Viking in 4 seasons, and then 20 points, 20 rebounds. 20 rebounds, the most by a Viking in Portland State's Big Sky history. That's 20 years. That's an amazing number. Forte 3 straight double-doubles on the road, and they weren't just double-doubles, they were big double-doubles.
Well, Cam's, starting to play at a high level, from that standpoint. I mean, he's obviously a great scorer around the basket. I don't think he shoots anything outside 5 feet, so he's starting to convert at a high rate again in league play. He's rebounding the ball extremely well, and hopefully, the theory behind that, get the ball inside, and then it opens it up for the shooters outside. So we just got to, it's no secret. I'm not telling anybody they don't know. Keep getting the ball to him, and, he's got to keep producing there, and hopefully that'll open it up on the perimeter. But he's doing an extremely good job. He struggled a little bit early on. He was not shooting it quite as well or finishing quite as well, and I think we're doing a better job of getting the ball in a position to score, and he's converting on it. And obviously we need great production like that down the stretch.
Okay, now this week at home, Portland State hosts Montana State Thursday night in a game here at the Stott Center, presented by Papa John's. Victor's party before the game for the students. Come on out early for that. Coach, a chance to get back in the win column, a chance to jump over a team if you can beat them. That obviously is a big deal in the Big Sky standings. Vikings beat Montana State on the road earlier this year. What do you look for against a team with a couple of great guards?
Well, that's kind of where it starts. I mean, Colbert and Hall are great players. If you're a basketball fan, I would come out and see Tyler Hall, the freshman. He's as good a looking freshman as I've seen in a while in this league. So, it's no secret there. I mean, that you've got to try and control those guys. We did a good job of controlling Colbert at their place. I think that was kind of the difference in that game. So, but they also have good complementary players that we can't allow to, have career nights also. So, it's a big game for us. Obviously, we've beaten them once. If we can beat them again, then you kind of got the hammer on them in the standings and able to leapfrog them in the standings also. So that becomes a pivotal game on Thursday night.
Okay, and then on Saturday, the Vikings hosting Montana. Montana obviously has been a powerhouse the last several years, won the Big Sky regular season last year, did beat the Vikings a couple of weeks ago up in Missoula. Very talented group, some good inside players as well.
Yeah, no, I think you look at Montana, they have a good point guard. Walter Wright is extremely quick. They got a great shooter in G. Feller, and they got a great big in Bruning, and it just seems like that's probably why they're in first place right now. They got a point guard, a shooter, and a guy that can get them low post points down there. So, and then they're extremely stingy on the defensive end. They do a good job of playing on the defensive end and rebounding the basketball, so they're hard to score against and then execute at a high rate. So they're between them and Weber, they've obviously separated themselves as the top 2 teams in the league so far, and that'll be a good matchup for us. And looking forward to that one, but got to get the one on Thursday first.
Okay, now you've lost your last 2 games, and you have a week to prepare here at home for these 2 opponents. What are you telling your team? What's the point of emphasis this week?
Well, I think, I tried to tell the guys, 5 of our first 8 have been on the road, so, we've won a couple of those. Now the thing that hasn't been very good, we haven't played very well at home. I think, we've got to play a little bit better. I think more than anything, we've got to be positive with the kids, which we're doing. And I've said it all year to you and everybody else. The kids have done a phenomenal job this year of bouncing back after tough losses, or at practices have been extremely good. Their attitudes have been extremely good. And I think that's kind of the disappointing thing for our guys a little bit, is that we've lost so many games that have come down to the wire that you want to see these guys win, because as a coach, everything that you believe in, whether it's practicing hard, how they conduct themselves, they're doing those things. And for whatever reason, we're coming up a little short, and it's just a fine margin in all those games. So just trying to, tell the kids we keep believing in them, keep doing what we're doing, and maybe just do it at a little higher rate, and not much of a higher rate, because it's every game's been a couple points here and there. So if we can just kind of get over the hump and find ourselves to win a couple, maybe that turns into 2 wins turns into 3, 4, 5 or whatever, and we just got to start playing well over this last month as we head into March.
All right, the Vikings at home this week, Thursday and Saturday. Montana State, Montana, both games 7 p.m. Get down to the Stott Center and watch the Vikings. You can get all the information at govikes.com.